Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Anna. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. And we immediately have comments from Val here. We see starting on Mercy, but this is mostly going to be Anna, I believe. So I got pinned down by the other teams, so I can't plan my preferred attack harder style, only forced to respond to the other team. General weakness of playing a lot worse if there is level of heat applied on the Mercy/Anna. Okay. Many banging table, Val. I love it. You're giving the diva too much resource. Okay, this is quite the all-star comp. This is, yeah. And Blah says, yay, perfect.
My friends, God's resources standing around. There's glory to be won.
Set properly here, we are.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, so we were pre-healing the Mercy there. We hit a quick swap. We work our way up. As how should I put this? As Blah would be happy to tell you, Lucios aren't good for much when you're playing as Mercy with Lucio. Lucio, most of the time not a great support comp, but right now this Mercy makes a great Guardian target. You have to figure out how you're going to rotate across here, and this Lucio looks like a great way to do it. Let's Guardian to him right now before he's gone. Limited time only. Guardian Angel.
Damage boost engaged.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's just use our Orisa, use Game Buster, get to safety. You can still enable this Reinhardt, but you're going to do it from over here. You don't want to be back here this long. Wow, props to Temporal for finding a single use for Lucio. There we go. There's the Lucio Adrian coming out of Blah.
I'm taking care.
Okay, and we're just gonna damage boost Game Buster here, right? Like, no question, we're gonna damage boost Game Buster? No, you're gonna heal Reinhardt. Now can we damage boost the Reaper? The Reaper? What? The Reinhardt's fine. Can we please damage boost the Reaper who has targets right next to him that are also threatening you? Like, here we are. Sure. Reinhardt has a shield. He can figure it out if he has to. You're trying to heal him. Oh, there's a Widow in your face. Huh. Let's solve this problem immediately. And our two solutions to this problem could be, well, I'm going to Guardian Angel over to Orisa and put a barrier between me and them. Or, and pick both, I'm going to damage boost the Reaper who's right here and can deal with these things. Like, for sure. Not, oh, I hope Lucio doesn't bother me too hard. I hope Widow doesn't scope in. No. This Reinhardt is in no danger. He's fine. Damage boost him. He can reliably hit shots. And by hit shots, I mean swing his hammer at the Lucio. Damage boost. I know, you're going to play a little more heal heavy because you have a Lucio, but hey. Lucios are like wasps.
I'm taking the point.
Fine. You're going to Guardian Angel across? No. I get that you're worried about the Widow. I really do, but clearly you have a lot of team over there trying to do something. Let's just Guardian Angel across and past our Orisa and heal Game Buster from here. Like, if we go close to this, it's going to be hard for the Widow to have a sight line on us wherever she is. And you sort of know where she is. Just go across. This is like keeping you in their sight line. No. There's a lot of I don't trust the other support in a lot of my games, and you get to be a little more of that with Lucio's because you just don't combo terribly well, but... Okay, we're gonna have a beautiful Valk push here. Fine, he's healed plenty. You're overhealing this Orisa. Heal, fine, good, I'm good. This Orisa is fine. Your Lucio is on heal aura. You can find something better to do than continue healing Orisa. You can damage boost the Lucio for all I care. Like, oof. Okay, I'll live. Damage boost. Get Reaper healed up a little. That's really more than plenty, but whatever. Damage boost the Lucio.
Damage increase.
That's a full health Reaper. Lucio is the one who has shops right now.
Oh, let's break it.
Okay. Damage boost. We have beat. We're damage boosting. Even if we're damage boosting Mei to snipe Fair out of the sky, we're damage boosting. Okay. I guess it's real enough. I really think you could have sort of milked what you had from the beat a little more. Like, yes, you don't actually have beat anymore, but the opponents are already sort of retreating, and I'm not really sure I want to Valk when the opponents are already they're already on their heels, they're already trying to retreat a little. Yes, you have the wall come up. I probably would have delayed this a little bit, but I'm definitely being nitpicky. This is a perfectly fine Valk. I'm just going, how do we make this a little bit better? And I bet a second from now we can get a better one. No.
Heroes never die.
You see the Reapers there. You see the Reapers already. So you do not need to support this Reaper like this. Like, if the Reaper wasn't going for the Widow, sure. Maybe you go for the Widow as Valking Mercy with your pistol. But the Reaper's got it. You're good. Are you thinking you have to support your Reaper here with shots? Otherwise, like, if you don't do shots, the Reaper's not going to safely teleport? Is that what you think? I can kind of justify that. Like, if she's good, and she won't be, but if she's good, she will at the shot and just eliminate him. And you're maybe thinking you put additional pressure on her like this, but your team is going to fall so far behind. This is one of those rare exceptions where, like, at a higher level, I could actually justify what you're doing, but at the silver level game, I just don't want your team to lose out on this much beam support in this Valk mirror match. Like, I don't want it to be like, hey, here's her Valk, here's your Valk, and your Valk is completely sealed while you're trying to tie up their Widow just a little bit to make sure your Reaper doesn't get headshot right as his iframes end on Shadow Step, when I just don't think she's going to be able to do that. But it is taking a risk to not blast her here, for sure. It's taking a risk. It's just, which risk are you going to justify? Are you going to justify your team falling behind in the Valk War, in the Valk plus Beat War, which they're already going to be behind in, and now they're going to fall behind in even more? Or are you going to hope that your Reaper, hope that your Reaper doesn't get one shot, or are you going to do this? That, like, again, at this level, I'd say stay in the Valk War. And if you need to move your beam to the Reaper, no problem. But the double swap of swapping your weapon and then swapping back in a second, I don't really like it here. The one good thing about Lucio is if you stay on heals, you'll accidentally get healed by them. Okay. The Reaper will safely teleport because it's silver. That's kind of where I am, Crunch. That's not kind of, that is where I am, Crunch. Yeah, okay. And this is way too much. You only needed to give him cover for an instant. Like, an instant was all he needed. Okay. It would have been cool. It would have been cool. But you're going to lose here, that's fine. They threw, like, they stacked their Valkyrie sound barrier. They were always likely to win that, and then they threw a beat on top of it. No problem. You're okay losing that.
Never
Now we're on Dana.
fighting for what you believe in.
Okay. Sure. She's not looking at you. Why isn't she looking at you? Literally just because she spent time mining. Not because she was aiming at someone else, because she spent time mining. Okay. I wouldn't necessarily have expected her to not be peeking at you yet. You might have wanted to peek here and go like, is there someone walking out of spawn? Because when someone walks out of spawn, that probably will draw her crosshair. Or can you sneak over to here and be like, hey, let me take a shot from here? Not necessarily from here. This is too dangerous. And yes, you don't have the angle here. So you thought of, can I change angle? No, I can't change angle. Can I wait for someone else to open it? Yeah, you can. But she can't aim, so we're going to be okay. Oh no, the Smurf is awakened. Yeah, no. So, like... Okay, that happened. Oh! That's a pocketed widow who's paying attention to me. I'm out. I'm just out. I'm not doing it. Okay, you only took the one shot. Good.
I have it.
Now you can go. Okay, fine. No, don't just waste it. Don't just waste your nade. That's too low probability. If you throw the nade into the Holt, okay, but... What is that? A non-empty reload? Like that, right there? No, that one was an empty. Okay. You were talking about the previous one, which is fine. It's a fine reload.
Nim. Watching your back.
I'm good with this.
Nim.
The double stun, quite nice. But I'm already thinking about how I'm going to use my nade. Because, like, this is still your Reinhardt being in the middle of their Valk, right? So, like, I'm already thinking about how am I going to get value out of my nade? How am I going to get my Reinhardt and someone else with this nade? And the D.Va's a problem for that. Is it going to be right here? Are you going to get your nade off? Or are you going to lose your Reinhardt? Like, it was incredibly predictable that you were going to lose your Reinhardt there. And it was going to be tough to save him with a nade, but we kind of had to try. It's not like anyone on this team was going to punish you for putting both of your abilities on cooldown. Even if what you did was hit the back of the D.Va, just hit D.Va in the butt with a nade, that would have been a little more interesting than we're going to take offensive shots here. I love to not healing Delucio. Temporal can see a lot more mistakes than I can. That's kind of my job. No. No. This is free. So you know all those mercy attacks that you practice because you're convinced that they're absolutely necessary to get, another 200 SR in the metal ranks when they're not actually necessary until very high GM? This is just like a casual, actual diamond level trick. Like actually not all that high level. You just have to know it on Ana. We sleep these. You don't have time to shoot, sleep, shoot. You do have time to sleep when she does these. Let me rephrase that. You technically have time to shoot, sleep, shoot her, but you don't actually, if you're delayed at all, you don't actually have time. We've drilled this a lot in higher level play. And the real practical thing to do is you interrupt this, you take away her mech. She loses call mech because you hit her with her sleep here, and it's incredibly reliable to hit a D.Va that's standing still with your sleep. And we know what your Ana mechanics look like. You can hit this sleep. 9 times out of 10. Do it. I was going to shoot, sleep, shoot, nade, melee, but too slow. Yeah, it's too slow. You gotta go. Again, technically you can shoot, sleep her when she goes for the mech summon, but only if you're like pre-trained on her with your crosshair and you don't have any delays to it. In reality, just go for the sleep. It's more important because remember, if we hit the sleep, even if we don't immediately finish her, she loses her call mech. She has to charge up another call mech even if she somehow survives. Huge value. It's not worth the risk of trying to get the shot in first. Lucio, there to soak your grenade. And you're going to change the angle, right? You don't have any abilities, but offensive shot, you're going to change the angle? No. Okay.
You're going to live.
Hey, Antares Gaming.
Freeze! Don't move!
Okay, you tried.
You're going to be okay.
Okay, she'll give you a chance.
Help me.
You had Lucio health. You're non-panic. No, no! You're good. You had an extra 100 health here from Lucio. You can take this fight. You're not actually going to, like, break her mech or anything, but you have an eternity to get off your nade. You have an eternity to find a chance to get off your nade. Put some pressure on her. Put a shot into her.
Help me.
Good. Sure, go get the health pack. That's fine. It's a little early. She doesn't have boosters. She can't beat you to the health pack. You should put another shot into her. Spend a little more health on another shot into her. See if you can get her to DM. Then grab the health pack. Again, she doesn't have boosters. She just used them.
Walk it off.
You just gifted her the health pack. My inner tracer duel is like... Okay. Okay. Why isn't she DMing Silver? She's probably not DMing because she's probably waiting to try to see it. I mean, in Silver, they don't usually have the reactions to DM on seeing it, but it probably is doesn't think the nade is going to come out immediately because Val had 300 health when she started. What is the difference between main supports and flex supports fundamentally? Their positions on a team. Fundamentally, the difference between them is their positions on the team, and your main support is generally your support that is more responsible for peeling for your flex support, who is bringing power to the team. Zen is bringing Discord Orb. Anna is bringing nades plus, pretty darn good heals. Bap is bringing pretty good heals plus a lot of damage. Zen is also bringing damage plus... I'm not saying the main supports aren't bringing anything else. Lucio's bringing speed. That changes how your team plays. Mercy is bringing a lot of poke support and res, which is really good for poke teams, pick-off teams, etc. But, your Mercy, your Lucio, and your Brig are primarily your main supports. Again, it's mostly a reference to a position on a team, and those are the supports that peel for Zen. Peel for... Where did I go here? Peel for Bap. Peel for Anna. Peel for Zen. Peel for Zen. Peel for Anna. These guys are the ones who sort of if your supports get attacked, each support is going to defend themselves, no question, and the support will help the other support, but this support is more interested in helping this support than this support is in helping this support. This support is mostly helping the support in a, oh shoot, if they take care of you, eventually they'll get to me, and I don't like that sort of standpoint. Okay, back to our Anna here. What's up, Blah? What am I waiting for? What am I waiting for, Blah? Oh, I see. I always thought Zen was a main support. Thank you. Wait, Lucio is supposed to be interested in helping other supports? Supposed to be. Supposed to be. Does the two Lucios know this? No, they don't. Not on ladder. It's not like I care about you or anything, main support. No, they don't. They're just like, if my Lucio gets eliminated, that Tracer will come for me next. That Lucio was kind enough to insert themselves as a bodyguard. I guess I'll throw an Ana dart at them. Yeah. Okay. Challenging snipers and beating them with our silver mechanics. Mm-hmm.
Activating the barrier.
There's a diva. You can pressure that out. Like, here you are. You decide you changed your angle. You're going to put the shot on that, and then you immediately close the angle. He's gone. He's not coming back. You should probably deal with the diva.
I have you.
Good. That was not amazing.
I have you.
Like, this is just hopeful. Like, the diva's not going to see your sleep dart and react with either booster or DM, or just walking behind cover. Like, no, this was not very good. If this diva was pushing you, maybe. If the diva had turned and rounded the corner on your Kree and therefore wasn't looking at you, maybe. But that was just gifting your sleep dart. Okay.
Step right.
خد بالي منك.
Here it comes.
Oh, you look tired.
Made that a little trickier than we had to, but you got it, so I'm not going
Get
to
in
complain.
there.
I guess we invest another ult into this. Like, they're Valking again. Yeah, they're Valking. We'll do it. Sure.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Probably can't make me invest into that one, though. Like, we see this happening. I see that Gamebuster's in there, and I know you're in comms with Gamebuster. Though if memory serves, Gamebuster isn't talking very much this game. He's not really in his opponent's face. Like, he doesn't actually have someone... He's got plenty of health. He's not really in his opponent's face. He's not, like, on top of this Lucio. He's not on top of this Diva. I'd actually probably prefer to just hold your Nano. Like, you're taking a risk by going up here to Nano him. He's not in any real danger. He's not on top of a target that he's going to do good work against. You'd be better off just waiting until DM ends here, and waiting until your Sigma shift ends here, and then just DMing your Sigma. Your Sigma will be fine with this. It's not like amazing or anything, but that's life.
You're powered up.
This
Get in
isn't
there.
particularly good.
Help me. This will only hurt for a minute.
That was just you asserting mercy dominance. I know what that was.
I'm on fire. Keep out of my way. Go. I could be healed.
I hear if you clean your ears before the game, Lucian has double damage to you. Only if you clean your inner ear. Don't do that. Why are we like... Here we are.
Heal up.
He'll heal you. He will. You really don't have to nade this. I know Blod very much dislikes Lucio, but he will heal you in this situation. No, let's not challenge the Hanzo. Not from an angle that's too similar to our team. Let's not keep repeaking into the Hanzo Pharah. Like, it's enough. We're good. We do not need to be challenging this. If we're going to challenge this, we need to find a new angle to do it from. We need to pretend we're a DPS and go, okay, fine, I'm going to rotate here while I'm waiting on my team to respawn, and I'm going to challenge from here. Or, okay, I'm going to go like this, and let me go sneak, drop a nade, shoot. Or, sleep, run, and then play from here. And I don't actually recommend you do that on Ana right now, but like it would be better than this. Like just mellow out. We don't need to take these challenging shots right now. It's a Hanzo and a pharmacy that we're playing into. Like no. We'll just let Lucio be the tip of the spear. Sure. You're not going to hear me commenting about Lucio's being tip of the spear as a problem very often because it's a very swirly, spinny tip that's like up over here, up over here. Like I don't care if Lucio's over here when his Reinhardt is pushing in like this. That said, that's not quite what's going on. Now you can peek, sure. Unfortunate. But like this is sort of in the frame of you're letting yourself take damage here. You're risking getting eliminated. Look at how long your Widow's been missing health. Like, you can't do anything useful here. You're now healing a Sigma that has extra health. Do you just not like space? Is he your least favorite Owl player? Just because your team is sort of... I mean, Widow's not foolish for poking into this necessarily, but just because... How do I put this? She's more able to poke into this than you are. She has one-shot potential. You don't. You're peeking into a Hanzo and a pharmacy. Your team isn't ready to push. Like, I'd be much more interested in standing to the side. If there's a window to go for it, sure. If she just takes a ton of attention, sure. But, again, she spent a lot of time...
Heal up.
She took damage there. And she got eliminated there. And you didn't really do anything useful in between those times. Maybe Lucio could heal space. Maybe. But I don't usually expect my Lucios to wander back for Widowmakers in normal Widowmaker positions to heal them.
30 seconds remaining. We're going to be okay. I'm under attack.
You're trying, okay.
Oh, let's break it! Damn! What is that melody? Step rider.
Okay, you can play back a card, you're gonna play front a card.
Activating the barrier.
Sure. True. Okay. You can still stun her. Like, hit the stun. This is free. Like, yeah, we're a little worried about the Hanzo, but we still hit the stun on the Diva, so that we'll get the stun on her from our sleep. Maybe you're worried that you don't want to stack it with Flash, but I just wouldn't worry about it. Like, let's hit it. Almost, but it would have been easier to, like, why go for the hard one when she's moving when you can get the free, easy one?
Barrier's about to break. My barrier is
On my way.
Die Fidak.
On my way.
You can heal him. I know you can't see through the dragon, but you actually can see through the dragon because he's got that plus sign for you. Like, you can heal him. You don't need to spend an aid on this.
Die Fidak. 60 seconds. Nano bridge is ready to deploy.
Helden sterben nicht.
You're covered.
Not really necessary. Like, Gamebuster's fine. Gamebuster's sort of around a corner, but he's got his other tank has gotten in front of him. The barrier's out there. He's at a third health, but he's still got pretty reasonable health.
Walk the dog.
Yeah. Are you using this time that you've saved for him healing Gamebuster by using a nade to now take offensive shots? Not really. So we've got some nade work to do. Good. Good nade. You didn't have room to pocket your free. That's fine.
Everyone, adapt. Continue back. The same.
You noticed the reload was a mistake, so you naded. Let's take a look here. Did I go far enough back for this?
Walk the dog.
Good 8 out of 12. Reasonable.
You're covered.
Oh, had you started at the reload button there? You insta-canceled that if that's what you did. Okay. If you'd started at the reload there, that was a very fast cancel. Oh, the dragon one. Okay.
Everyone, adapt. Continue back. The same.
What is that melody?
Move it out.
Oh boy.
10 seconds.
Yeah, so this was a really long time for your team to get stalled out here. Like, this is a really long time for your team to get stalled out. And when your team is sort of getting stalled out like this in a fight that just refuses to give, you've really got two ways to create openings. You create an opening with Nano, you increase your initiation power, your go power with Nano, or you go, I'm going to have to get an angle and drop a nade into this. I'm going to have to get an angle and drop a sleep into this type thing. And you're just sort of doing this, and I'm going to rewind this and rewatch this just to show you how long this continues. Here we are. We're at 7:17. Here you're sort of thinking about being aggressive. Sure. Gamebuster does that. This should be easy cart push. Not super easy, but very doable.
Barrier's about to break. My barrier.
And now sort of the beginning of where they stall at, 7:52. And you've got a minute on the clock. And we look at this. That's the one we're talking about, canceling the reload. Fine.
60 seconds. Nano is ready to deploy.
Okay. So we have to figure out how are we going to get into this. Is our team here? Is our team present? Team looks pretty here and present. Okay, so can we find a way to get value? Is this going to be a Gamebuster goes in because you two are in communication, goes in here and you nano him type thing? Is this going to be a you nano your Sigma when he gets pushed type thing? I don't know, but you either need to use your nano to open this up, or you need to go, hey, I'm going to swing around the outside and get ability value off, drop a nade in this, and then immediately swing back, hit a sleep on the side to stun, and then immediately swing back to not let this be a stall out. Like, you'd recognize to use Valkyrie if you were playing Mercy. Nano can be used in very similar situations. Because Gamebuster was on comm, I was too willing to nade him because he looks to boost forward rather than hold position. Yeah, and you're sort of treating your nade like a mini nano there, and that sort of exists as a thing, but it is a very mini nano. The plan was Diva go in, and then when he was in range, he gets nano. Okay, yeah, the Widow Mine's on the rail. What about it? What about it? You don't set landmines on railings? Yeah, no, totally. Okay. You don't have the angle, he's caught, and then you don't want to nano him because he's coming out. Yeah, okay. So you just didn't swing up with him appropriately to get the nano off there. We don't need to take aggressive positioning yet, but we're looking to have aggressive positioning by the time our next set of cooldowns are available. We can just weather the Valk if we want. That's okay. It's 5v5, still perfectly usable fight. Fight looks good. Okay, we just sort of threw our sleep into there. That was hopeful, to say the least.
Everyone, attack.
It's been 30 seconds, and there was a Valk during about, we'll say third of that, fine, half of that, fine, whatever. Like, there was a Valk during that, but it's been more than 30 seconds here. It's been closer to 40 seconds. And we haven't made any progress, and it's been a very close fight the whole time. Like, this is the trademark stall-out fight. Neither of you are really making progress, which favors the defense. So, like, we have to figure out how are we going to unlock this. My team isn't figuring out how to unlock it by themselves, and this isn't like this previous choke, where there just wasn't a ton for you to do. Going and taking any of the angles, this takes forever, and your team is alone for too long. This takes forever, and your team is alone for too long. You don't have that issue here. You can absolutely go, oh, my Sigma's shifting. That's plenty of cover for you to get up here and use this to deliver a cutesy angle to not take over the fight, but have disproportionate value in this fight. This is just a straight nade from the same direction as the rest of your team's fire is coming from. It's too easy for them to deal with.
The pain is coming.
Temporal, did I ever get into Smash Bros? Not when it was a serious competitive game. Like, I remember playing Melee on the 64, but yeah. Temporal wants an aggressive Ana. I mean, Temporal's always, not always, Temporal is generally in favor of using Ana's abilities aggressively, yeah.
Move it out.
Well, that's scary, and you get eliminated, yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
You kind of get the Traverse is real more because you're the support. But that's kind of an illusion. Like, you have to heal less if earlier in the fight you can get something done. You use your team's health as a resource. And we talk about this with Mercy Beam all the time with Valk, where it's like, if you go blue early, you'll get to do more blue because you'll get ahead, which will put the team in a cowering position. If you go yellow beam early, you're not going to get to do very much blue because you're just slowly going to be losing a health battle. Well, Ana's much the same way. If you can find a chance to get your damage shots off early in the fight, to get your abilities off early in the fight, it's going to cause the opponents to cower a bit, which is going to mean you're going to have to heal less, which is going to let you get more offensive shots or abilities off in the fight. I thought I was banned from doing my off angles, from doing off angle Ana. No, like I don't want you taking a deep off angle and just like unloading your clip as all offensive shots. I'm not gonna tell you just try to heal bot your way up as Ana. Like, I'm not going to ban you from doing that. You had a game where you went hard offense and you just took over with like, hey, I'm just doing aggressive off angles. I don't care what's happening behind me. Oh, my backline is just getting crushed back there. Things like your Widow are just getting destroyed and you have no idea going on. I remember you had a game a little bit like that happened, but that doesn't mean that you can't push up an off angle to break a stalemate, which is what you do, to drop in a nade, to drop in a sleep, to take 2 to 3 offensive shots. 3 offensive shots is a lot, but like, you can definitely do that. That's just proper Ana play. Sounds like Temporal wants more offensive off angles, but still able to heal your team. When they're available, yes. And again, it's when they're available. Like, again, if we go back here, I wouldn't have you go take this angle because you just can't help your team from this angle, and it takes forever to rotate back to be able to help your team. I found interesting parallels between fighting games like Smash and Overwatch, space trading, Space, trading space for avoiding damage, attacking when at advantage, being safe when in disadvantage. Yes, very much so. Some of the principles in fighting games do transfer very well. While I didn't seriously get into competitive Smash myself, one of my buddies did, and it's very clear from discussing the game with him. Maybe I'll have him on and we can do a talk about Smash at some point, Smash Bros at some point, because that'd probably be interesting, not as like a permanent thing, but as like a let's talk about how this works type thing. Let's talk about high level Smash Bros. Maybe we'll do that. But yeah, I could definitely see that, Anton. Was an interesting insight to me. Yep. He said I was only able to do 7 8 o'clock rotates, not 9 10. Okay, so if we look at our clock here, we've got our 6 o'clock here, and we've got our 7 8. And yeah, I'm good with that. Not your 9 10. What I'd probably say now, because it sounds like you've maybe interpreted that too hard, is let's try and be careful about the full 90-degree off angles. So this like the 3 o'clock angle here, let's try and be careful about this. Like, we don't want to rotate all the way out to here. If we do, it should be very short term. Let me rephrase that. These are good for like taking shots and doing things, these ones here. But if we're going to rotate all the way to a 90-degree thing, that should be a very temporary, like dump an ability or two and get out type things. That's how we're going to further refine your gameplay here. Again, we don't want you to put too many training weights on at once here. I don't want to restrict your gameplay too hard. Unbanned, thank you. You're welcome.
Score 0-2. Switching sides.
Never stop fighting
Ready
for what
for
you
battle.
believe in.
Ready for battle. Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
This is like Christmas morning for Val.
There's nothing I haven't seen before. Stick together. We will complete our mission.
안녕.
Get behind!
Hi.
5, 4, 3.
Are we gonna ego duel snipers?
Attackers incoming.
Looks like they don't have any, but you don't know that.
Objective
I guess it's not quite ego dueling them if Game Buster's sitting there, but still. Right idea. And it's still Lucio. Okay. Understandable. That was one shot too many. So here we are. Hitting our reload. Shot into Diva. Shot into Diva. Nade, it's hopeful, but no dice. We're going to have, that shot's not really going to work, but we try. We need this next shot into Diva.
Covered.
We probably want to scope for our follow-up shot. This was probably a left click and then hide sort of your delay between shots. You have a mandatory delay between your Ana shots. So when you're at ranges like this or a little bigger and someone's really in trouble, it's pretty normal to do a left click shot and then scope into your scope shot. Because like you have the thing on the way, the shot on the way, but then you get the more accurate shot, the more precise shot afterwards. You already have your heal on the way and you're hiding sort of the delay between your shots with your scope time, because Ana does have a pretty long delay between her individual shots here. So that's usually what you'd have done here, but it's fine, you didn't, and you're worried about the Doomfist, so maybe that's why you're not willing to scope. We look at this. Now our Game Buster is just fine. He's not like the most healthy diva ever, but he's fine, so we're going to swap targets. And we could either swap targets to our Reinhardt, which is probably what we're going to do as we push forward, because Doomfist isn't paying attention to us. So this is a step forward, heal Reinhardt, and then our next shot probably goes into Hanzo. But that's okay. Let's see what you do. That looks like it was another shot for Game Buster. And now you're going to have to stay on Game Buster. Okay. This is like the trademark. I'm out of shots, so I'm going to panic and sleep dart just to do something. not really. Like, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you. Just wait. Let it cancel your reload.
Take your man.
Sure.
That's much
Not gonna matter. You have to leave. Yep.
Taking damage.
You're fine.
You're going to
Good.
be okay.
That's a smart use of hit scan. I didn't know that. Hey, no problem. That's what we're here for. Wow, that Doomfist is terrible. I mean, you know, he could be better, sure.
You're powered up. Get in there.
He doesn't have a shield, and he just charged, so, like, I get why you're worried about him.
You're powered up.
He doesn't
Get
have
in
anyone there. You're not going to be able to get him later. Okay. Unfortunate beat. Fine. We don't need to walk in here. Like, we're good. We got the nade off. We're good.
Meteor strike.
Find a corner to use.
there.
Yeah. So you wanted to find a corner to use like this one so that you can immediately react by flipping to the other side of the corner. Like, this is actually a pretty good one because you're in a situation where it's like, where's the epicenter going to go? You even get to tuck in here if you have to, which is awesome because you've got, like, your shape to this corner is like this. But for these, you're generally looking for a doorway is best, but a corner can be useful because if he puts his epicenter here, you can sort of go over here. If he puts his epicenter over here, you can sort of try to use the other side of the corner and be like here. On a corner like this, you can go even better and go here, and it's just great, like in this area. So you sort of need to be thinking about, okay, there's a Doomfist, they're going to ult. Do I have a door frame I can use? Do I have a corner I can use? What do I have that I can use to get away from his ult? We were talking about breaking line of sight with corner doorway earlier in chat. Nice, nice. Nice. Okay.
You're covered.
Sure.
Watching your back.
Reasonable pre-heal reload. Another reasonable pre-heal reload. That's a little less reasonable. So here we are. They just beated, so we know there's incoming. This happened. Where's our sleep?
Watching your back.
He's stuck. Sleep him. Right now. Like, as soon as you saw that uppercut start, this was asleep. He's the most dangerous person on... Like, the thing that you're most interested in sleeping to protect yourself on the opposing team is the Doomfist. Yeah, you might catch a Pharah ult. Yeah, you might, you know, do something interesting in terms of putting a tank to sleep. The one you're actually worried about is this. And you'd for sure do this to protect yourself. This is a harder sleep than protecting yourself, but you're going to hit the sleep right here. The slam, you might pause and be like, I don't know if he's going to uppercut or not. But you just saw him slam and then uppercut. The instant he starts his uppercut, we're pressing that sleep button. Val is punishing the Doom pretty well. Yeah, yeah. I did the Winston Hop Tech from Mercy, didn't think about the corners. You did the Winston Hop Tech from... Oh, yeah, because you get to position against Doomfist way differently as Mercy because you just don't care about his ult. It's not threatening to you because you can always find someone to get out off of. That makes sense. Sleep Doom or let Lucio die. Maybe the Sleep Doom is correct action. Maybe. Okay. Oh, there's a Sigma there. What are we doing? Why are we trying to push into this? We have to self-nade. Like, we don't have a choice here. If we're continuing to push into this, we have to self-nade, and we shouldn't be continuing to push into this. Like, I get that you want to try and save your Reinhardt, but look, your Reinhardt would have been available to you without you pushing in. He knows he needs to back here. That was your nade. It was for... Okay, okay. I know I love purples. Like, I am a huge advocate of hitting purples. I really am. But, like, you'll notice on my anti-use list, self-healing definitely does make the list as reasonable nade uses.
Justice reigns.
Oh, I guess they didn't have enough. Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
Wait, are you shield breaking? No, you're thinking about healing Reinhardt, but it's okay. Probably wouldn't have let your ammo get that low, but hey. Thought if I helped the Ryan, he would win the objective, so good trade. You gotta value your own life higher than that, though. Like, you have to value your own life highly enough that you're like, nope, I'm going to survive. Like, you don't value your life to the point of silliness. Like, yes, you might go, okay, I've got to touch the point because no one else will type stuff, or I'm gonna get out no matter what, and then you get staggered by 12 seconds. But, like, you're gonna value your life. It's almost never right to go, I'm gonna tank damage to heal someone so they stay alive for one more second is almost never the right answer as a support.
Get back in the fight.
Because it's you prop them up for one more second, and then you go down, and then they get taken care of by the person that took you down getting added to the fight against them. Right? Whereas if you protect yourself, maybe they'll survive, maybe they'll use your own tools like their shield, like they're backing out, like they're getting cover, and you can do the same. Like, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to go down after you go down if you go down, whereas if you, like, their situation gets worse 1 to 2 seconds from now if you try to help them, is basically what I'm saying. What's this back? This game revealed a lot of weaknesses I didn't have. Time to go Super Saiyan next time. Fair.
Get back in
Okay,
the
so we can do this. There's a Reaper pushing you, so let's back away from him. Like, we're not going to go back out here, so let's get ourselves back behind phone booth. We're going to get ourselves behind phone booth, right? I don't really want to be here. Huh. Okay. Kind of in the open. Yeah. So here you are.
Get back in the fight.
Cool. But, like, you're threatened from both directions here. Now, not really, because the Rhine shield is up, but we don't like it. We're going to go here. And your Reinhardt just goes in. Okay, so be it. Don't walk into it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
60 seconds.
You look tired. Healing in hand.
Just leave. We're gonna cap. Walk, turn and walk. Turn and walk. Too late. Now you have to face him again. So, like, usually we keep our crosshair pointed at people that we're running away from because the speed differential isn't worth what we get from keeping them honest with the threat of shots. There's no threat of shots against him, and we can hear him on Wraith. So since there's no threat of shots against him, and there's no threat of shots against anyone else who's potentially pursuing us right now, we're actually going to turn and run and take our 10% speed bonus from running away from him as opposed to backing up. If only you could handle yourself.
This will help.
Okay. Unfortunate. Now he wins.
Stop the payload.
Yeah, and now you're staggered. Unfortunate. You almost had it, but it was all going to come down to that sleep. Gamebuster avenged you, at least.
I'm not ready to hang it up.
Meteor strike.
Of course, I say it all comes down to that sleep, but you could have booked it out of there much faster than you did after the first sleep. It was clear the fight was over and that you guys were not recontesting first.
I'll keep you healed.
Leave, 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 leave.
No chance.
You're going to be okay. You're powered up. Get in there. My وريهم قوتك. وريهم قوتك.
I'm a little surprised this wasn't the thumbnail that she sent me for wanting, but I guess the particles aren't great on that. Yeah. Okay.
My shots find their mark. Get back in the fight.
Almost. It was less good. Your Reinhardt's fine. You can still get this nade off, but you don't throw it there. You throw it where they're actually going. That's too early.
I'm under attack.
You're covered.
You just don't have abilities, so you need to tuck. You do want to close the angle on these guys because the fight is happening out here and you're not remotely interested in what's going on out here. You don't want this part of the fight able to engage on you, so you can close this a little harder because this is the part of the fight that you want to interact with. That said, ultimately it's Doom that comes after you and you don't have cooldown. That's fine. You spend them reasonably. Well, the nade should have been better placed, but reasonable idea.
60 seconds remaining.
I'm not ready to hang it up.
Watching this back, I dumped way too much resources into Gamebuster, which I wouldn't do if he was a random diva. Yeah, and that's something you want to be aware of. I cared too much to full healing him. Yeah, I noticed that. You full healed him more than I would have expected. But in general, going, hey, he's going to get more nanos. Hey, he's going to get, nades. Like, you can synergize with him better, and you know that his understanding of the game, because you know he watches some of the same stuff you do content-wise, is going to be somewhat similar to yours, more so than a random player's. So, like, you're going to be a bit more on the same wavelength for, hey, what does an engagement look like? When should we go in? Or at least you hope that to be the case. And you can build synergy over time if you want to play together, and then it potentially makes more sense to dump a little bit more resource-wise into him. Yeah. So I'm not, like, hugely bothered by that, but yes, you were doing some weird full healing on him, especially early on, we noticed.
Healing enough.
Meteor strike.
Where's your cover? Where's your cover?
30 seconds remaining.
It's gonna be a problem. Get the mini, get the mini, get the mini!
Get me.
10 seconds
Keep your heads down. We've almost got this.
Okay. Okay.
victory.
They broke out a bastion. They did. They did. Okay. So we have some things that we could get into here. I think you probably saw a lot from this game. I'm not going to turn everything into a point. I suspect you're going to rewatch this a few times and you're going to be like, wait, no, I want to work on this. Wait, no, I want to work on this. Wait, no, I want to work on this, because that's how you operate. So you're probably going to end up being you going and turning this into more than I do. But what I would actually get into point wise here is, okay, perhaps we oversealed your angles too much on Anna. So like we're going to loosen that up. We're going to go, okay, we do want to break pushes. Like the same way, and our way to break stalemates with Anna is going to be, we take an angle to dump a nade, especially when things start stalling, when it's like no one's making progress. It's like you're playing a tug of war game, and like the flag on the middle of it is here, and it's like maybe it goes over to here, maybe it goes over to here, and you're not really getting any movement. That's bad for you when you're on offense, but even when you're on defense, you'd rather just win the fight in a lot of situations. Can be a little different on second point defense, 2CPs type stuff. You sometimes want to play the tug of war, but that gets advanced. You need to recognize when this is happening or when this looks like it's going to happen and affirmatively do what you can to end it. That might be going up and positioning, and we talk about this sometimes with how ML7 plays as Anna, where you go position yourself so that as you get into the position, the cooldowns that you want to use to get value, you're going to be in the position to get value out of them as they become available. Or find a way to use your nano. And in this case, you had a game buster to coordinate with to get value out of that nano. So that shouldn't have been terribly hard. And even if that wasn't available, you had a Sigma that was like, hey, the Sigma's gonna get pushed by the other diva. There's going to be moments to do that. So like you basically at a minute 5 should have easily been able to get another good push, should have been able to get the cart past here. Maybe you don't finish the map, but we could get the cart over to here type thing. Like we should have been over to here type thing. Like we should have easily been able to get more out of this rather than just have a healing war. Like that's kind of what it was, a healing war for a good 40 seconds there, 50 seconds there before they ended it with their ults and such. Like you absolutely had the option to do that. So again, we can go up for angle, drop on our abilities, back off, or we can look to affirmatively use the nano. That's how we break some of these stalemates. That's one thing that we would want to be aware of, and we can think of nano for that and our abilities for that. I will do the things you say first before doing the extras. I appreciate that. Another thing that we get into is you are, how do I want to put this? You are flinching a little bit with your nade. You're not flinching wildly with the nade, and I know you know this, but you are flinching a little bit with the nade to heal people here, to heal people here, to heal people over here. Like you are flinching a little bit to heal people with the nade that don't really need it. I know the heal over here on the Game Busters Diva wasn't meant to be that. It was meant to be an offensive nade, but you're flinching a little bit with heals on the nade when shots are totally valid to you. So I am going to keep that there because that really is important, and especially if we're going to have you use your nades a little more offensively, a little more with angles, it's important that you're not flinching and using them poorly to heal. It's okay to use nades to heal, and sometimes you're going to throw nades and they're going to get eaten by divas and that stuff's going to happen, but we really don't want to be going, hey, I'm trying to just generically heal with my nade when this person is perfectly safe to heal. Perfectly safe to heal. I can heal them or they can stay out of the fight for a second or two. It's really not a big deal. So like we do want to go ahead and do a better job of that with our nades. That is something that we're like, hey, that's happening. We're going to be a little bit better with our nade there. So far we've got understanding how to break these chokes, understanding how to take these better angles to do it, and going, hey, we want to get a little better with our nades here. Now we could go a couple directions. We could get into your sleeps, because while some of your sleeps are okay, there are better moments that you sort of need to predict, like the Doomfist uppercut, where it's like that is your moment at the sleep. There were some poor hopeful sleeps, like the sleep back here where it's like that's the Sigma shield. What are you doing? Where there's better moments that we can expect to get the sleep, but again, I'm going to be a little hesitant to focus on those when you're going to be taking different angles for these sleeps a little more often in the future here. So I'm probably not going to get into that. Your reloads were mostly fine. We talked about scoped versus regular shots. Let me circle for a second here. There was something else I thought I wanted to make a point out of. Could get into your nanos. Like we did have a couple. We both had the holding the nano too long, and we had, that's probably what I do for most nanos. Based on the gameplay I saw, I'd probably get into your nanos and talk about, hey, you can use nano very similar to how you use Valk timing-wise, where it's a little different because it's a little more based on someone actually being in, but like this nano didn't make sense. We didn't find the good nano here. Like we did the nano on the Reinhardt where it's like, yes, he's in, and I think you thought his charge was going to take him further where you wouldn't be able to heal him. I just assumed that that's why you nanoed him, to protect him, because you thought he was about to be in a terrible situation and we couldn't afford to lose him. But if you could tell that he was going to in fact hit here and he didn't have anyone that he was pinning, this nano doesn't make sense either. That's like 3 really not great nanos that we're looking at, and we really do want to get better out of that. It's not quite as critical as it is with Valk because Anna has more ways to take over, influence a game. I'm not going to say it's not important. It's just not quite as important in terms of where Anna's power is distributed in her kit. But we really do want to be like, someone is pushing into someone and we nano them. Or our tank is pushing into someone or we nano them. Or, hey, our Widow has a super aggressive angle and we nano them, which I still wouldn't recommend in Silver. I'd mostly keep it to your more reliable people, like your Reapers, your tanks, etc. And really when they're in, but when they're in and their damage range isn't going to be a problem for them. Like again, Gamebuster doesn't have anything over here. This Reinhardt, he was sort of in, but he didn't have anyone he could actually swing at, and if you nano him, they're going to kite him. They're going to run away from him. He's not going to be able to do anything. So like, we want to make sure your nanos are hitting when people actually have the option of using their weapons effectively, when they're already engaged, either because enemies are walking onto them or they have successfully walked or used abilities to get on top of an enemy and they're actually there. So those are sort of what I'd work on for you. Again, there's different tech stuff you can get into in terms of when you hit sleeps on Doomfist, in terms of how you use your shots here, in terms of, hey, why are you double peeking the Hanzo? Like you did just try to outmuscle the Hanzo a couple times. You didn't pay quite enough attention to your Widowmaker, but that's much improved from what we saw when we sealed stuff for you on Anna, so I'm not too worried about that. We're going to call that a one-off in terms of not paying attention to someone back here because you were too interested in offensive shots. That said, you were too interested in offensive shots here. Like when you guys got stuck at this hold a little too much, you were a little too I'm going to be ballsy. I'm going to challenge the snipers. I'm going to challenge the snipers. I'm going to forget about my own sniper. I'm going to take all these offensive shots. Like, that's not amazing. I know it's annoying because it doesn't feel like there's much you can do, and there's times that you can do it, but that's really too much challenging. You want to challenge them as your team pushes, or you leapfrog off your Widow doing it. So like your Widow opens up to take a shot, and you recognizing that she opened up to take a shot, immediately open to take your own shot, because the Widow taking the shot is going to pull her crosshair over. You don't really want to just randomly or just brute force the Hanzo, the Widow type thing like that. But I'm getting too into it. Anyway, I gave you 3 major things there. Don't worry too much about the last one. It's relevant, but not super a big deal yet based on what we saw here, and you're not going to run into it that often yet. So if you have questions, you can throw them up in chat now, as can anyone else. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate that. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below. In there, you'll be able to see what my rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. Throwing nade in early. Throwing nade early equals throwing fight. Throwing nade early equals throwing fight. It depends what you mean, but I'd say mostly no. Like, it's not great to throw a nade when there's almost zero chance of it being followed up on, and follow-up can include other ranged poke damage, by the way, like fire strikes, like TNTs, like Hanzo logs, whatever. If you're talking about that type of early nade, where it's like, hey, you threw a nade in there when you hit them with a nade here, when your team is back here, you're kind of going to have nade cooldown when the fight starts. Not the end of the world, but not great. If you're talking about you just heal someone with a nade when you could have just used your nade, when you could have just healed them with shots and then used your nade to more effect for a purple or to heal yourself later, because that's harder, that's kind of throwing the fight. That's a little strongly worded for it, but yeah. Okay. The Mercy review in a few days later. Okay, totally fine. Totally fine with me, Val. Okay. I'll give you guys another moment or two to get questions up there, comments, anything you like. Remember, if you guys want to see when this stuff is happening, you can join the Discord, and in there you can go get notifications, react in that channel, you'll get the watcher role, and then by having the watcher role, you'll get pings when we go live. So you can see if it's a hero level you're interested in, if it's hero or rank you're interested in, or if it's like a topic you're interested in, because maybe we're reviewing a guide, maybe we have something else like, oh, we're talking about news, maybe we're doing who knows what. Okay. As for Anna, you are basically telling me to think about my win condition, looking at my cooldowns rather than reacting to what comes. Yes, I'm very much telling you that. You are going, hey, how are you going to break open the fight? You're not just trying to prop up the fight forever. You will prop up the fight. If you prop up the fight, sometimes your teammates will solve things, but you are thinking about, can I get a good nade? Can I get a good sleep? Can I make this happen? Especially when you notice your team is stalling out, that should be a flag in your mind. That should be a reminder in your mind of, wait, we're stalling out. What can I do to solve this? That should be a thing that happens. Getting purple as a squishy does force you to poke less. Absolutely. No one commented on the good DMs Gamebuster did. That's true. We weren't really reviewing Gamebuster. I paid attention, but we weren't really trying to review Gamebuster here. Lack of trigger discipline with it. I'm not quite sure I'd call it that. And then we'll go back to what you sent me here, make sure we addressed it. What to do in disadvantage situation, low pressure equals do well, dived on plays bad. I don't think you played all that poorly when you got dived on. You handled that Doomfist when he came on you, that, there was the long kite. Obviously, that was you should have turned tail and run faster, and you had two separate situations where you should have retreated from a fight. You should have called it on a fight that you didn't. But I didn't really want to make that a focus. So I don't really think you played particularly poorly when you were under pressure. I think sometimes you went, oh, hey, let me just shoot into the opposing sniper. Or let me shoot into the opposing poke DPS that I haven't worked up a lead on and just trust that he's not going to hit me. But, I don't think you played particularly poorly under pressure here. So I'm not super worried about that. I learned 10 times more from my own Anna review than from watching someone else's. I gained a lot today. Excellent. I'm happy to hear you feel like this was super valuable to you. We didn't really see anything from Gamebuster's point of view. Correct. It was the guest appearance, guys. Gamebuster wasn't the star of today's review. Do I want to address that topic any further? The how to do well when you're under pressure. I mean, how to do well when you're under pressure, I'll give you another more in-depth answer to that. And the more in-depth answer to that, even though I don't think it really applies to you today, I think you did fine, is if you find you're under pressure, you're missing shots, there's a tracer on you, there's a Doomfist, whatever on you, I know it feels like an eternity, but just give yourself a second. Not a second, a second's too long, but pause for an instant to think. It's okay. You can just be just breathe, pause for a moment. Maybe that's a third of a second. Maybe that's half of a second. And figure out what you want to do. Calm yourself down. If you find you're struggling when people are diving you, it's tough. A half second is a really long time, and you're not going to be able to give yourself a half second as you get higher. But at this level, you really can just go, nope, I'm going to give myself half a second. And I might lose because of that half a second, but it's better to give yourself that half second and then sort of go, okay, it's fine. It's just another player. They're moving around. They have uppercut left. They don't have slam left. I have 50 HP. Okay, I have to try and sleep them now. Or I'm going to sleep them when they uppercut me if my health total allows for it. Or, okay, that's fine. I, missed to the left, missed to the right. Now I understand his movement pattern. Now I'm going to take the shot. Just give yourself that. And if you get eliminated because you gave yourself a moment to settle down, to calm down, that's fine. It's really not a big deal. Most of the time when you're struggling under pressure, you've just let yourself get too stressed. And I give you permission to sort of be like, oh, okay, it's fine. I'm going to fight you again now. And if I lose, no big deal. You were kind of expected to beat me. Not a big deal. Okay. I meant my sleeps lose accuracy while taking damage rather than my flanking free sleeps. Yeah, that's absolutely going to happen. Deathmatch is a great place to get comfortable against tracers and dooms. When I am in no danger, I can hit sleeps above what a silver player could do. Sure, and that's going to be normal. Everyone's aim gets a little worse when they're directly under pressure. You really just have to think of it as, I'm not really expected to hit this sleep. and it's bonus if I do. Like, let go of the pressure on yourself, sort of be like, I'm going to try to hit this. It's fine if I get eliminated here, I get eliminated here. Like, it's really not a big deal. You can think of it as the flanker is expected to win. And the truth is, at the highest level, maybe they're not expected to win, but you can just treat it as the flanker is expected to win this matchup, and that's totally fine. And probably, if they're any good at all, they jump to you when you didn't have both cooldowns available, and that becomes a different equation. So, like, it really is give yourself permission to lose, and then you will lose less. Like, give yourself permission to lose, and you will lose less when it comes to fighting off flankers as a support, hitting those sleep darts, hitting those Zen headshots. When it comes to that stuff, that can relax you a fair bit and make it a lot easier. The other thing is just going to be, you hit the button and then you flick to where they're going to be. And you know how the principle works, but it can just be a close range thing. It can be you're better at the sleep darts at distance rather than close range. And if that's all that's going on, well, even if that's not all that's going on, DM is a good place to practice. And no one is going to be unhappy about someone running around as Ana in DM. And that'll get you the practice under pressure. It'll get you comfortable with you're not going to win all the time, and it will get you comfortable with the close range stuff. When I am in no danger, I can't hit sleeps above silver players could do. You can't hit sleeps. Can't hit sleeps. Sorry, I thought that was someone else responding with the they can't hit sleeps at all, but no, I misread. Okay, then I think that's going to do it, and we will go ahead and call it here. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.